Alrighty there, my friends. How are you all? I hope you are doing absolutely amazing. I have Zachary in front of me taking like a picture of my setup because I'm not kidding. I have been futzing with layout for how to do these lives for as long as I've been doing lives, which is a very long time. So it's always funny when I talk to other entrepreneurs and they're like, "I'm so afraid to go live," and I'm like, "Just don't be. Just get used to going live, and it'll be fine." So here are. It is Thursday, April 23rd. We are doing lots of good and exciting stuff around here. We're doing lots of amazing coaching and making a lot of breakthroughs with clients. It's super, super awesome. And I really, frankly, I credit a lot of it to my being kind of open and willing to be super vulnerable and honest. And I had some pretty big breakthroughs in my own coaching last night about that, and that's really what allows me to come on here and do this every is because I work so stinking hard. Like my family will attest. Like I get on my exercise bike usually at about 6 o'clock in the morning with my coffee, and I sit there and I think. And so it's super fun, and it allows me to really drive forward in how I think and what I do. And so that, on Wednesdays we talk about work, and I put a handout in the proofing box. So if you're interested in the work that I do, you can see a lot of what I do and how we create freedom through compliance and wealth and community over in the proofing box. And I stream all of these lives to the proofing box. They're all archived there as well as being archived on the YouTube channel. But I can't post files to a regular business page. So what I did was I posted the questions that I've been going through this week as a PDF in the proofing box. So if you want to get in, just have to search it on Dirigo. I think if you're on the page, you just click on the page. Like if you're on my Dirigo Food Safety page watching this live, I think Associated Groups is over there on the right. And so just click over there and join us over Briefing Box. We're having some pretty good discussions around a whole bunch of things, and it's super fun. And then the other thing is that if you find these lives helpful, pass them on to somebody. The more people, as I think I said like 3 or 4 times yesterday, people, the more the more boats rise, and so that's the that's how we that's what we do. Okay, so anyway, so today I'm super excited to be talking about work because of course I'm a business coach, but I have also been a stay-at-home mom. I have been an army captain running a branch. So I was called a branch chief, and I was the branch chief at Fort Monmouth in New Jersey, and then I was the branch chief at the U.S. Army Military Academy at West Point. So that's in the west. That's in the West Point into the Hudson River. So go Army, beat Navy. Be very excited to see if we have a football game this year. And so we are all about work around here, and lots and lots of different kinds of work. And we are we are working on that because this is what I do, right? And I long ago I figured out that um, an awful lot of me grew up to be my dad, except with ovaries. And that means that I have for most of my life to find a lot of myself through work, and I have let's see here, spent most of my life trying to figure out how to not define myself through work, and I've really only figured that out in the past couple of years. And so that's a lot of what I feel like I'm talking about when I talk about work on Wednesdays. Because when I talk about freedom, and the freedom that understanding how creating wealth in your life, I guess it's Thursday and we're talking about incoming wealth. We talked about work yesterday. I was wondering why I was repeating myself. We talk about wealth and we talk about wealth, incoming wealth and things like that. A lot of us don't know what we want. Like we think we want. Okay, I want to make $1 million. I want to win the lottery. I want. Okay, so we think we know what we want, but the truth is we dive into what we want around. When we dive into what we want around around wealth, we often end up in a morass of I'm not good enough. I can never have this, and this is where like the abundance code and manifesting wealth and all of that sort of stuff really sort of falls apart. It's because it's not enough to like want things out in the universe. I mean, yes, we do absolutely have to start there. But if we believe thoughts create our results and we're willing to work with our thoughts to create the results of abundant wealth. And I'm kind of guessing that most of us want more wealth than we have. Okay, we want to create that $1 million business. We want to go out and have the reserves, so that we're not like one paycheck away from destruction should, when we all go into coronavirus lockdown. And I think that's a very, very common it's a very common refrain in our society for the vast majority of us, right? And even for those of us who do, even for those of us who do have a lot of means and a lot of wealth and a lot of family wealth, of which I am one, guys, I'm wearing my Wellesley sweatshirt or sweater, right? And I went to Wellesley on a trust fund because of the work my grandfather did. And the work my mother did investing that money. um, but there's a song in Annie called Easy Street, okay, which if you haven't gone and watched Annie, I highly recommend it. I don't know if it's on Netflix or whatever, but go rent it from Amazon or whatever. And you can watch Tim Curry singing Easy Street. And the idea that everything gets easier when you have a lot of money, I'm here to tell you is not true. Okay, Andrew and I have worked like incredibly creatively. And I don't want to say worked hard, worked very creatively and been open to a lot of failure so that we can have the life that we want. And we are continuing to do that, right? And we have been resilient and creative because we have decided that we want to be resilient and creative so that we can build the life that we want based on a amount of wealth that we end up accumulating. Okay. And we've developed the capability to have those conversations. We continue to develop the capability to have those conversations. I have somebody that I work with every once a month, and he's working on my books and things every week, so that I can be having these conversations around my business because I want my business to be generating wealth for my family. Okay. And I'm not going to lie, when I went into business, that isn't what I was thinking. Okay. And even as soon as like December of 2018, I had this impossible goal of I wanted to make $1 million, but there $1 million, like $1 million in accounts in like total revenue in a year, right? At least 40% profitability. Everybody leaves that part out. But I realized over the course of the year, and my money conversation with myself over the course of last year has been significantly changed to one that is much more gentle kind of through the process that I am taking you through this week about what do I want about money. And the truth is I want wealth so that we can do the things that we want while I am working. Okay. Because, guys, it's like my exit strategy for my company is to sell my company to like the people who are going to be working for me. There is nobody who is going to come in and buy a food safety consultancy because they're just not sellable, right? They're not sellable. I am the brains of the operation. And my goal is to create wealth in my company by transferring my brain and training people and teaching other people so that we can have all of our processes and our operations written down so that there is value outside of what's between my ears, right? Because that's how I see doing it. Other people have other exit strategies, and those are all amazing. But it all comes from the thought that I want to use my business to create wealth for my family. And you may have other thoughts. I want to use my job and my career trajectory to create wealth for my family. I want to use my side hustle to create wealth for my family. And when we're specifically talking incoming money, we're talking about making money. Okay. And so many of us are just so stinking ashamed to want what we want when it comes to money. And I get it. I have totally been there. I have been ashamed and been on phone calls with people to ask and charge what I charge. I had when I raised my prices last year, I went through like so much mind drama until I got used to it. Right? And you can get used to any level of money. And what if you wanted to get used to like a level of money? Because I will tell you, it is a lot easier when you're not worried about paying your electric bill or paying your mortgage or paying the internet bill or paying the car bill or whatever. Okay. Guys, it is a lot easier. It takes a lot of brain space off of your plate and on to solving more problems for the people that you're meant to. Okay. And I know that there are, I get on here and I talk about wealth, and there are a ton of people who are all about, but money doesn't buy happiness. I totally get it. Money buys brain space, money buys time. Okay. And I think that that is an incredibly important concept to come about. So if you are not at a space where you're willing to think, I want to have my business create wealth for my family. What if you thought about wealth in terms of time, right? I mean, we're all like locked up with each other. Okay. And what if wealth right now is having the time to go take a walk in the woods, or having the incoming money to be able to go take a drive. Okay, I mean, Lord knows I don't even know what gas prices are. I haven't been in my car. I don't even know how long. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to drive my stick shift, right? So get real honest about what you want when it comes to incoming money and wealth building. Okay, so in the first of our exercise, we talked about what that actual money is and what you think about it. And last week we talked about how do you feel about it? How do you feel about it? Okay. And this week we're going to work on what you actually want. Okay. And so I am going to pluck a number out of the air, okay, for us to go through this thought model that I've been going through all week, okay? And we always start with trying to figure out whether or not we want what we want. Okay? And so here's where I'm gonna start. All right. And here, I'm going to bring up the questions here. Okay, so we're developing and testing a thought. Again, this handout is available on the Proofing Box, so go download it. So what thought are you trying on for size? I want to make $20,000 a year incoming to my family. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I believe? How much do I believe what I want? And I will tell you I'm probably on that thought. A I want to make $20,000 incoming to my family. And so, do I believe maybe is that the thought that I want to think I'm developing? How about this? I'm developing the capability to make $20,000 a month for my family. That one feels lot more believable. I just did my scale of 1 to 10 and I was at like a 2 on that one. So let's take one step back. I'm developing the capability to make $20,000 a month for my family. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I believe this thought that I'm developing that capability? I'm pretty good on believing that. I think but I'm not 100% because that's not actually a thought I think a whole lot. I'm kind of doing this. So I'm kind of at a 6 on that. And why am I 6? Why am I 6 on that? Because I feel like that's a pretty big leap from what I'm doing right now. Um, I don't know what I would do with all of that money, which sounds really stupid, but those are the thoughts that I have, right? It's all about figuring out what the thoughts that you have actually are. Um, and so, what are my other thoughts that make it a 6? It feels like I'm gonna have to work really hard to make that level of money for my family. It feels like I would have to spend a lot of time away from my family to make that level of money for my family. Even though I work upstairs in an office for my family, I'm above the garage. So write down the thought that you are testing. The thought is I'm developing the capability to make $20,000 a month for my family. And do I want to think this thought? I think I want to think this thought. And I want to think this thought because I know my thoughts create my results. And if I think this thought, then I will create the result of developing the capability to make $20,000 a month for my family. So I do want to, I think, but there's something in there that this isn't resonating with. So you're seeing a live fire exercise, right? About what it looks like to try a thought on for size and not maybe really like it. So how would I act if I thought this thought? I really feel like, actually, now that I think about this and why I might not like this is because it feels like it's very me focused and not focused on others. And I'm spending a lot of time figuring out, like, all of my brain space right now is occupied with being in curiosity around my customers. And I feel like if I spend brain space on this, I might crowd out brain space for my customers and serving my customers. And I'm worried that's how I would act. And if I look inside to the truth of my feelings, what are the positive feelings that this thought brings up? What are the positive feelings that I'm developing the capability to make $20,000 a month for my family? What are the positive feelings that that brings up? I'm not 100% sure there are a whole lot of positive feelings. Isn't that interesting? That I could think that thought about making $240,000 a year for my family and it does not bring up positive feelings. Boy, isn't that interesting. What are the negative ones? The negative ones are really present. I really feel like this is a whole work. It's going to be a really big grind. It's going to feel terrible. Like right now, I'm sitting here and I'm feeling terrible about this incoming money thought. And what evidence am I building to believe for this to work? I'm not getting any evidence that this is going to work. And I saying to myself, this is going to be easy or hard. I'm going to say that this is going to be super hard. And I really think so. Question number 5 on that water, on that water model that we do, if I believed this thought, what results would I create? I don't think if I believed this thought, I would actually end up creating the result of making $20,000 a month with my family. I really don't. I really don't. I'm looking inside, and I think that if I tried to exert my energy to believe this thought, I would bludgeon myself with this thought. Because now that I've just gone through those 5 questions on water, do I want this thought? How would I act? If I turn inside and look at the truth of my feelings, what evidence and what results? How hard do I believe this thought? I don't really believe it at all. I really don't believe it at all. Like, my beliefometer has like totally gone down since asking those questions. And that's amazing. That's truly amazing, because it means I'm not ready to believe this thought about incoming money to my family. And that if I exert my mental energy trying to believe this thought for my family, I'm going to like make a whole lot of negative in my life. I'm going to move from emotional energy. We're going to have other things in the family that are just not working as well. And that is truly not what I want. So that's actually fairly amazing. So this is me, like, guys, this was a live fire exercise. And so if I sit here with myself, having gone through exercise around wanting what I want around incoming money, and I approach myself with presence, with acceptance, and with sufficiency, maybe if I like, what do I feel like if I'm in presence and acceptance and sufficiency, what am I saying? And I think maybe what I'm saying is right now is time for me to concentrate on serving my clients. Okay. It's time for me to concentrate on like really getting out there and serving and being coaching courageously and being with people in their and I'm going to think developing the capability. How about this? This is the next one I'm going to do. This is, by the way, guys, this is exactly how I coach. You are listening to me coach myself, because this is what I'm going to think. If I develop the capability to be courageous and vulnerable with my clients, the money will come. And so let's go through that. If I develop the capability to be courageous with my clients, the money will come. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I believe that thought? I totally believe that thought. I am at like an 8 or a 9 on that thought. Why? Because I have seen that with with clients that I have coached. I had that happen on a call yesterday. I've seen that with my coach, and I've seen them coach other people. Like, I have a couple of different coaches, and I've seen them coach courageously. I've seen them be super courageous about who they are and the change they're creating in the world. And I think if I go through this and I test out the thought that if I coach courageously and with vulnerability, the money will come. That's really super easy for me to believe. So do I want to think that thought? Yeah, I really kind of do. And how would I act if I thought this thought? I would coach courageously and with vulnerability and really go all in with my clients on their dreams and not let things stop us, not let fear or shame. I've been doing a lot of thinking about shame and how people are ashamed to need coaching, and I totally, when I felt the same way. And then if I turn and look inside the truth of my feelings, what are the positive thoughts that this brings up? This feels amazing. This feels courageous and vulnerable. And I know that all of my amazing results come from courage and vulnerability and being in wonder. Because that's really what this process was, is I kind of wonder what happens if I try on this thought for size. And what are the negative feelings? I'm afraid of being judged. I'm totally afraid of being judged. I'm afraid that I have come on here and I have like coached myself out loud, right? And I'm totally afraid of being judged. Because guess what? I have those fears too, just like you. So what evidence am I building for this to work? Am I saying that this is going to be easy or hard? I already believe this. Like, this is going to be super easy. That if I coach with like courage and vulnerability, then the money is going to come. That's super easy for me. And what results would I create? I would create more courage and vulnerability for myself. And I believe that that has value out in the world, and that that value will come into my business. I do really think that that means money will come into my business. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I probably, if I started this at like a 7, maybe, probably, now I'm at like a 9. And even if I am a 10, and I might be a 10, I still go through and I ask the strive questions. So if I am developing the capability to coach courageously, or if I coach courageously and vulnerably, with my people, the money will come. That's the thought I'm testing. If I coach courageously and with vulnerability, the money will come. Am I physically safe to believe this thought? Absolutely. Absolutely. I know, even though I'm like a little sweaty palmed and my mouth is a little dry, take a drink of water here, and then I'm being super vulnerable, I'm still physically safe. I am physically safe right now while I'm feeling these feelings. Am I financially safe to believe this thought? I am financially safe to believe this thought. I have gotten myself to a position where I know that if I go out there and I do that, because it really has. Am I emotionally safe to believe this thought? I am mostly emotionally safe to believe this thought. I'm still afraid. Am I trained to think this thought? No, I'm in the process of training myself. And do I respect myself enough to think this thought? Yeah, I really kind of do. Have I invested the time, talent, and treasure to believe this thought? I am investing it as we speak. Do I value believing this thought? Absolutely. Absolutely, I value believing this thought. I think you can probably see how much I value thinking this thought. Am I empowered to stand in fear, discomfort, and failure to believe this thought? I am, because what might happen? I might come up to you guys and tell you, like, be accountable to it's really to myself and my business, but tell you what I told you yesterday about enrolling clients, right? And getting my people the transformation. Am I empowered to stand in fear, discomfort, and failure to believe this thought? And hell yes, because I know discomfort is where the change comes. All right, so we go into light. So the thought I am testing is, if I coach in courage and vulnerability, or with courage and vulnerability, the money will come. And I look around, and what do I observe myself when I believe this thought? I observe a lot of excitement in myself. I observe that that the way I act is the way I act when I am making a breakthrough, and that's super exciting. What does my integrity tell me if I believe this thought? My integrity tells me that this is a great way forward, and I like what my integrity is telling me. Does this thought feel gentle? I don't know if courage and vulnerability always feel gentle. I really don't. But it feels way more gentle than other things, and things don't have to be gentle to be implementable. But being kind to ourselves, this does feel kind to myself. Um, because courage and vulnerability are kind acts in the world. I really believe that being courageous and being vulnerable is a kind act to the universe. Feel helpful? It's helpful. And does believing this thought build trust and credibility and connection with yourself and with others? Well, it really builds trust and credibility and connection with myself. It really does. And I think that's really pretty amazing. I think that itself is super, super valuable. And like, totally, time will tell if this builds connection. I mean, like, builds connection, which I think that it certainly will, because it's building connection with me. And I know when I coach courageously and vulnerably, I build connection with other people, because because that they tell me. Right? And when I coach myself courageously, I build connection with my own self. I know I have my own back. Right? And so this feels really good. And so then I will tell you that the next step, I will show you the next step. This is what we do. Sticky notes. Okay, there are only a couple of things that my business runs on and my family runs on, and one of them is pens and sticky notes. And I am going to write down if I coach courageously. Okay, I'm going to spell this wrong and nobody's going to make fun of me. Courageously and with vulnerability, the money will come. Now, I want to point out something. So here we go. Can you see that? If I coach courageously and with vulnerability, the money will come. Okay, so I am going to put this on my desk right there. I will probably make more of them and hang them around. Okay, and I want you to notice that that's a really big difference than what I got taught growing up, which is do what you love and the money will follow. I think saying if I'm courageous and vulnerable, the money will follow is pretty different from that. And I really honestly think that's another way of building wealth in my family is thinking of new ways to do things. Okay. So wealth conversation, that is a conversation about incoming money. You have heard me lie myself that with like a lot of guts, I have to say. And now I'm going to go have like a vulnerability hangover headache, which is how you know you're doing it right. If your brain is screaming at you, you're probably doing this correctly. So tomorrow we're going to go through all of this again, okay? And we're going to talk about outgoing money, okay? So short-term debts, long-term liabilities, okay? That's probably do the same thing as a live fire exercise because why the hell not? It's only on the internet for everybody to see. So there you go. Please do get in touch with me. I have 5 slots left of for people. I would love to get on the phone, talk about coaching, make this sorts of transformation all 90 days to like create a whole new set of conversations with you. I love you all. You're completely amazing. And I will see you at noon again tomorrow to have some more money conversations. Bye, guys.